Blackenstein, the Black Frankenstein. Now, I have no idea how they did to him in this movie, turned him into a Black Frankenstein. Because the way they explained it, it would not have turned him into a Black Frankenstein. But it's a fun little movie, and it's blaxploitation, and blaxploitation was not a bad thing at first. I'm not going to go into blaxploitation because I don't think any of you want to hear it. But it was not a bad thing at first. And so we are going to jump into the movie Blackenstein. It starts with the opening credits. And we see the mansion where this movie takes place. And there's fog and lightning around it. There's always fog and lightning around this mansion at night, which I assume is Dr. Stein, who this is his mansion. I assume it's his fog and lightning machine that he turns on at night to ward off whatever fog and lightning wards off. So then we go to this airplane landing, and this lady singing about how sometimes she's drunk driving. And we see our main character, Winifred. I had to think of her name because I can never remember her name. And she goes to see Dr. Stein. And we meet Malcolm, Dr. Stein's assistant, who falls for Winifred. And Dr. Stein welcomes Winifred and easily takes her on. It would be better if it was him. Takes her on as a partner. And we meet the patients. The woman who was an old lady and is now a young lady but can't do anything, like go outside or watch the sunsets or even move around her room, because it's for some reason damages her and makes her turn back into an old lady. Why not just be an old lady? I don't know. And the guy who got a leg transplant, but his other leg looks like is an orange and black striped like a tiger. So why are Dr. Stein's methods scientific breakthroughs? I don't know. But then Winifred takes Dr. Stein to meet her fiance, Eddie, who is actually called off the wedding and wants nothing to do with her after he's got his arms and legs blown off by a landmine in Vietnam. And a orderly is making fun of him because he didn't have to go to Vietnam, which was probably a good thing. And Dr. Stein talks Eddie, the fiance, into taking his treatment, which at first is working. He gets his arms back, he can feel things. But Malcolm reveals to Winifred that he is in love with her. And Winifred says as soon as Eddie is right, they're going to get married. At which point Malcolm switches the RNA of Eddie's and the DNA of Eddie's, which is something you should be able to easily tell. They should be different colors, you think? And they are. So why couldn't they tell the difference? Because everyone in this movie is colorblind. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. So then they attach his legs, and of course they inject him with the RNA, which is the thing that made the tiger guy leg, but it is make a leg into a tiger, and has some sort of beastly property on you. Makes you into like more of a beast. So Eddie is slowly starting to look like a caveman. So they put him in the room by the laboratory, which has a big cage door on it, which you can lock. And they keep injecting him with DNA, more and more each day. Because they still haven't figured out the difference between his RNA and his DNA, though they're clearly different colors. And Eddie looks like Frankenstein now. How it has beastly properties yet makes you look like Frankenstein, I don't know. Frankenstein's not a natural beast. He was a monster created by a guy named Dr. Frankenstein. So shouldn't it make you look more like a gorilla? I don't know. But it's pretty cool because he turns into Frankenstein. And then he goes and kills the orderly and takes his arm with him like it's some sort of trophy. But next time we see him, he does not have the arm with him. When he interrupts the couple from having sex, because how dare you have sex when Blackenstein is around, and kills them both. And then goes back to the cage. Well, they keep injecting him with RNA DNA, hoping he'll turn. And so they hear about these midnight murders that, of course, Blackenstein is committing. And they keep turning up more. So the police come by to talk to Dr. Stein, who says none of his patients are doing it. And they lock up Eddie after each grabs Dr. Stein and Winifred, just chain the door shut. But of course, Eddie just rips it off and goes and kills a lady near a club, and then goes and kills a guy and his woman making out near the club, and scares the MC to the point where he sees a 15-foot shadow and he just takes off in the club, putting his cigarette down and saying, nope, smoking ain't worth taking on a 15-foot monster. Which he is the only sensible person ever in a horror movie. You see a big monster shadow, most people in horror movies run to the big monster. Like, I gotta get a look at it. This guy puts down his cigarette and goes, I'm off. I'm done. I'm going in the club. He's the only sensible person in horror movie history. So then the police get a kid gets a look at him and tells him where he went, which was back towards Dr. Stein's. And he walks in just as Malcolm is trying to rape Winifred, and he kills Malcolm, though Malcolm shoots him with a gun at point blank range multiple times. And he is not even injured. And then he takes out the other patients, which I really didn't care about. None of the other patients I really didn't give a damn about. I mean, honestly, I didn't care. So then he takes down Dr. Stein, but we think Dr. Stein is still alive because they ordered an ambulance for him. But he doesn't hurt Winifred because she calls him Eddie, and that triggers his love sense. And you know what happens when you trigger the love sense? And you're a monster. You run away from the person. So then he goes and finds a white woman, because even Blackenstein wants a white woman, and takes her into the factory. But she almost gets away, except she pretends she's in a WWE ladder match when climbing a ladder. And that don't work with Blackenstein. And my only question with these people he's killing is, why don't they just run away? He doesn't move fast. I don't think he can run. Why not just take off running? I mean, he can't teleport like Jason and Michael Myers. He's not in your dreams like Freddy. And apparently Chucky has some sort of weight thing that he can do to make himself weigh more. Though I still say if you just drop kicked his ass 3 houses down, you pretty much take care of him. I mean, but anyways, why not just run? But anyways, so police catch him in the factory and send in the dogs who killed Blackenstein. He's completely bulletproof, but dogs can kill him. And I've thought of why this is. Because dogs are the scariest thing to a black man. At least it was in the 70s. Now I think it's water. That's why they never shower. I know that was racist. That was not it. No, water is not the scariest thing to a black man. I have no idea what the scariest thing to a black man is. Maybe the IRS. Um, yes, that was another racist comment. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's dogs, pools, or the IRS are the scariest thing to a black man. The scariest thing to my ex brother-in-law is child support. So, but anyways, this is a good movie. It's on Prime. It's on Tubi. It's actually a really fun movie. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, but it's really fun to watch. It does have nudity in it, and it's really fun to watch. So go watch Blackenstein. As for next week's shows, we're doing the history of the Nitro Girls and Prometheus. Prometheus? I have no idea. It's a German movie. See you then.